show. Thank you, everyone. Other interesting cultural news, you have Bud Light worker story mostly flops and is kind of sad and depressing. Now this comes to us thanks to Anheuser-Busch's ex-Twitter profile. They say, quote, "At Anheuser-Busch, our story isn't just about beer, it's about families like the Johnsons who continue to work or continue our legacy by bringing people together generation after generation," unquote. Which, again, 18 months ago, probably would have been pretty effective commercial. But they shot themselves in the foot so bad, spending $185,000 for Dylan Mulvaney, only to lose $1.4 billion in sales and alienate 30% of the audience. Well, AKA, they've lost 30% of their sales for the Bud Light individual brand. Other brands, again, Anheuser-Busch InBev owns 40-plus beer brands. Other brands were not affected as much, of course. But again, they pissed off their core base so astronomically successfully, a lot of these old cliche commercials won't work anymore. And my first thought when I saw this commercial where they talk about this family lineage of having generations work there was, well, why did you sell out to a foreign entity? You're now owned by Anheuser-Busch InBev, famously headquartered out of Belgium. Incidentally, they don't just make cool rifles and waffles. But again, they're no longer locally owned. They're owned out of Belgium. They're part of Anheuser-Busch InBev. So, and they also, because of that Dylan Mulvaney controversy, they lost so many sales they had to lay people off. So when I see this, this family lineage, my first thought was, why do you put them in jeopardy by not knowing your customers? By putting so much risk out there? By continuing to not address the elephant or the Dylan in the room? I still believe that if you were to address this issue head on, you'd get some of those sales back. You're not going to get 100%. They royally messed up by not understanding their core audience and, again, trying to sell beer to kids because, again, the average audience member on Twitter, TikTok, which is Dylan Mulvaney's primary social media outlet, it's around 15 years old. And Dylan Mulvaney's core audience is also children, aka not appropriate to try to sell them beer. Certainly not appropriate to give Dylan a can that says celebrating 365 days of womanhood when Bud Light's core audience was, frat boys, country boys, and hardworking Americans. Now, and they try to go after a whole new audience that I don't suspect drinks a lot of beer in general, yet alone that brand. Now, in terms of going viral, quite the antithesis. Quite the opposite. This got 3,748 likes, or views rather. Almost nothing, relatively speaking, for a multi-billion-dollar brand. And it got 9 comments. Not to brag, but a couple weeks ago, I did make a video that got 10 comments. A couple of them were nice, too. And this only got 60 likes, which again is a good friendly reminder. If you do appreciate this content, take the 1/1000th of a second to like this video, or downvote it and let me know in the comments what I can do to make it better. Now, without too much further ado, we'll see how much I can play this here. Let's see here. And interestingly enough, you don't see this much in marketing. The marketing demographics have shifted dramatically in past years. You really don't see white folks in commercials these days. And there's many reasons for that. One of which is marketing efficiencies. They believe the most efficient marketing methodology is to have, many races in a single commercial so you can attempt to actually maximize your dollar. There are other theories, culturally speaking, that they're trying to push certain initiatives. That could certainly be a contributing factor, but I think monetarily they're trying to maximize their advertising dollar, make one ad that appeals to multiple people, multiple cultures. That way they don't have 10, 20, 30 ads. Now, ironically, I think this does almost inevitably alienate some prospective clients. So I'm not sure how efficient it is in terms of the sales, but in terms of production, yes, it makes sense in that regard. And without further ado, I'll go ahead and play this.
I'm John Johnson. I'm a third-generation brewer at Anheuser-Busch. My father used to always say that everything we have is because this company gave him a job.
Good emotional rhetoric. Music's pretty good.
He loved it, everything about his job. He gave me that passion. I got hired here in St. Louis at the brewery. A very short time after my dad passed away, but I just...
Dark. And, again, pulling on the heartstrings, telling about how the dad passed away, still working for this company. Again, this ad, I think 12, 24, 36 months ago, would have been pretty compelling. Especially even more years ago before they sold out to InBev over in Belgium.
Just thought to myself, I did it, Dad. I did it. I'm going to walk in the same shoes that he did. So I carry his ID with me every day in my wallet.
That's brilliant emotional rhetoric. They actually show him holding his dad's ID with the Anheuser-Busch logo. Now, subsequently, it's the Anheuser-Busch InBev logo, I think, for most of their global marketing materials. And kind of sad, if you're looking at a modern asset tag or ID, I suspect it probably would have the global corporation on it. But again, it's an old faded ID. It's been roughed up a little bit. Again, they spent a moderate amount of resources on this commercial.
And now my daughter Heather and my nephew Adam are also brewers. And one guy gets to go to work and hang out with his family. I mean, am I the luckiest guy in the world or what?
That's moderately uncommon, but with most larger businesses, the odds are in your favor. There's a lot of job openings. But again, I'm thinking from a business perspective and logistics, how common is that? It's moderately common. If the family wants to work together, they'll find a way to do it. I mean, they might not report directly to each other because of conflict of interest. And they don't want the look of nepotism. But again, for the commercial, if you're not, in a business nerd like myself, or automatically thinking, oh yeah, I work with XYZ clients where they have multiple family members working together. Okay, that for the average person that might make sense.
If Grandpa was still here, it would be something for him to see this. They're the next generation that's going to take it from here. That is part of the pride of this place. It wasn't just one employee, it was bringing the whole family. Dad used to say that what we create brings people together.
Used to bring people together. A little grammar error there. They forgot that word.
That's what Anheuser-Busch is.
Was. Anheuser-Busch was. Past tense. Grammar matters, folks. And again, it's now known as Anheuser-Busch InBev.
You're part of something.
Now, it's no coincidence they're not saying that in this commercial. They want you to think they're based in Missouri. They're family-owned company. No, not so much.
That's bigger than yourself. We're just ordinary people making extraordinary product for everyone to enjoy. That's who we are.
Were. Very, very close to the grammar. Were. And the last logo is Anheuser-Busch. Let's see, there's 3 more seconds. We'll kill that boring music. 1, 2, 3, nothing. Was that really how they ended the commercial? That's who we are. I'm actually surprised they didn't do like a job opening. Now, granted, they're not expanding their business much these days, so they don't have a lot of job openings, I suspect. But it almost seemed like, again, if you don't know anything about the company, it might be a good advertising campaign to kind of get you interested in the company. But I mean, again, they shot themselves in the foot so bad the old cliches aren't working anymore. They're spending more and more marketing dollars. It's not working. They need to do something different. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing again, again, and again, expecting a different result. They're not working. They're doing the same cliche old. They're sponsoring country music events. They're sponsoring sports balls events. They're doing these commercials talking about the old, they're talking about the Clydesdale horses and all. How I used to love the company. But again, as part of the controversy, now a lot of people perceive them as losing their authenticity. Not only did they sell out to a foreign European company, but they also hired a trans activist, which even in that community, from a cultural perspective, that individual is controversial because Dill never got the surgeries that some individuals in that community believe is necessary to authentically transition. Though maybe I'm wrong. Maybe all the comments are saying we're going to go out and buy this beer today and celebrate as a family and bring our family together. I mean, probably not, but we'll dive in and find out. No. Gene Crawford says the best part of beer, bringing people together. Now, Anheuser-Busch, they're only partially inebriated by drinking Bud Light. They responded saying, quote, "We couldn't agree more." They couldn't take 1/1000th of a second to like this person's response. It's very minimal effort to click. I mean, truth be told, most people are using touchscreens, so you don't have to really have any resistance like a mechanical keyboard. So it's even easier if you're using a touchscreen on your phone or maybe a touchscreen on a laptop. They could not even do that at Anheuser-Busch. They couldn't like this person's response. Now, I can't help but think, who the hell is Gene Crawford? Going to the profile, my first guess is an Anheuser-Busch InBev employee or someone who just wants free stuff and they say everything nice about Anheuser-Busch because they think it'll help with their odds of winning something. Well, let's find out. So Mr. Gene Crawford has 20 followers and joined in 2021. So pretty new profile. Going down to their post, They repost for the Travel Channel. They repost for Climate Reality. They repost for Bud Light, Busch Light or Busch Beer, Budweiser. What is this? Climate Change, Budweiser, Climate Reality, another handle. More climate change, Bud Light with the failed Bud Light Super Bowl commercial, Climate Defiance. So more Busch Light, more climate stuff, more climate stuff. So again, Bud Light certainly did increase the certain demographic sales when it comes to hiring Jim Mulvaney. This person is probably this is the new audience that Alyssa Heiderchild wanted when she executed the marketing campaign so brilliantly. Well, no, wait. What's the opposite of brilliantly? Mentally vacuous? Again, they spent $185,000 to lose $1.4 billion in sales. Never in business history have you had that much of a loss. I think you could argue it's a bigger business blunder than most, even the ones that put other companies out of business, just because this is so many sales are gone. Now, granted, they have 40 plus beer brands in their portfolio. They're not going out of business anytime soon, but that's got to be one of the biggest. Now, you also have another one. Now, I might be a little biased, but this individual looks quite handsome and brilliant. You have the Topping Show says, quote, I may not be a marketing genius, but I know this ad would have worked 18 months ago, not now. Take 60 minutes to have the CEO go on Joe Rogan and apologize. I suspect you can get 5 to 8% of the sales you lost. You'd get some great clips from the interview and put a stop to the bleeding. Shoot, have the CEO go on any interview podcast, unquote. Also used a GIF, or as the youth might say, a GIF, of a gentleman with a thumbs up and saying, that's one hell of a ratio. Good job. Now, granted, that only got 19 views, but it did get 1 like, which is better than what Bud Light gave to that one individual who said something nice. You also have Scott Wells simply said, boycott, getting 2 likes. Dustin Minnick said, quote, go woke, go broke, getting 2 likes. WCC is JUCO conference. Individual says, bring back Bush Apple, you cowards, unquote, getting 1 like. Who the hell drinks that? That was a real thing? Ugh. Sounds like taking an apple and throwing it in a gutter or in a pond. In Flint, Michigan, pond infected by lead water. I can't but think. WCC is JUCO conference. Grant this profile. I wonder if they're just a reposter. Let's see here. They have individual thoughts and ideas. So they repost a little bit. But yeah, interestingly enough, a real person. I suppose that's moderate critique, just telling them to bring back a defunct product. You also have CM doing a picture of a poster. It looks like it was a Bud Light Pride bottle, and LGBTQ said it was turned to an acronym, and the acronym said let's grab beers tonight, Queens, unquote. That did get 1 like. Frank simply says you effed up, getting 1 like. Adam Schiff, the United States representative, parody account says, quote, but Wiener is the best beer for transgenders. Our president Biddet would be very proud if you were alive, unquote. No likes, but an interesting comment nevertheless. And culturally speaking, again, all these commercials, they're not working. Granted, I'm a little biased. I commented it as well. But the majority of these comments were just negative. Barely got any views. Majority of the comments were negative. This isn't increasing their sales. It's not shifting the brand's perception. It's not getting more people to like the brand or increase. What's the point? Are just spending dollars for the sake of spending marketing dollars? It's not very persuasive. Are you going to go out and buy a Bud Light because of this? I can't but think. Again, just go on, have the CEI operative, now CEO of Anheuser-Busch, have him go on Joe Rogan and say, yeah, we messed up. We apologize. We won't let this happen again. We're not going to do this. Or do something crazy to get our attention. What they could do, which, again, given the demographics that I'm guessing of who drinks Bud Light and previously had drunk in the beer brand, what if they just came out with MAGA edition? Put Trump's face on the big red bottle of Budweiser or Bud Light. Well, Bud Light would be blue. But, granted, that would alienate some of their clients, but that would get some old clients back. Now, Trump, famously did say we should forgive Bud Light. Everyone should go buy their crap again. Presumably people who burnt their tongues so they don't have any taste buds left. But, they went so far left. I can't but think they need to do something like politics on the right, or do something to, kind of level the ship, so to say. Because again, they're just doing the same middle of the road advertisements they've been doing for decades. It's not really compelling, and a lot of people just feel like they've lost all that authenticity, which is why I think we see so many of these comments just officially roasting the company. And anecdotally speaking, I have still not seen. I think I've seen one person buy a Bud Light in the past year. And again, this boycott has gone on for a year. It started April 1st, which perhaps is just the most cruel business joke in history because it viscerally destroyed the sales for Bud Light. I guess it's kind of funny. There's a lot of money for a joke. But let me know, have you seen anyone buy a Bud Light in the past year? And did they get any funny looks? Or what? In what context was it? Were they perhaps so inebriated that they didn't realize it was a Bud Light? Or were they starving in the desert and that was the only thing possible? Granted, I mean, some people might suggest you take sand and put it on your tongue first to decrease the taste of Bud Light, maybe. I mean, as always, let me know. I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, we're trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or a comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, as well as sharing the video with your friends, so it'll help with the YouTube and Rumble algorithms. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.